So apparently I'm in Ireland, Northern Ireland, Belfast, Game of Thrones. That's where I am. King of the North. I'm a fan. So apparently we're on one of the sets of Game of Thrones right now. Who cares about that? We're gonna be talking about why I haven't been using this camera that I'm using now. I'm using it, the Sony A7R, no, the Sony A7. Why do the numbers have to be so confusing? The Sony A7III. The reasons why I haven't been using it as much lately. Also, I have a sword. Jon Snow's. King of the North. So we're doing some random shooting arrows, kind of doing this Game of Thrones tour. But this guy actually, Will, right?
Yeah.
Will, tell my audience how many roles you've had on Game of Thrones.
I've been a wildling mostly. I've been a White. I've been a Knight of the Vale. My brothers have been Starks, Boltons. My dad's a Dothraki. My dogs, they're direwolves.
And what's it been like?
It's been really intense, really fun, like as good as you can imagine it to be. Like, we're making Game of Thrones. That's the main thing.
I feel like, I was saying to Peter, I feel like Game of Thrones has changed your guys' whole family.
It really has, yeah. Like, before that we were lifeguards and just living a normal life in an Irish village, and now we're like, you know, showing you guys and really cool people the sets of Game of Thrones.
But the real question is, did you have that beard before Game of Thrones?
I did.
So you're a lifeguard with this beard already?
Yeah.
Oh, boss.
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't change that.
I'm like an aqua Viking.
How cool are his dogs?
Yo, I want them for myself. Can't have them, Pete. worth an ask.
For all of you Game of Thrones fans, this is Winterfell. Doesn't quite look the same though. Heavily CGI'd. Heavily CGI'd. Alright, enough child's play. Maybe some of you noticed that in Banff I wasn't actually filming on the Sony. I didn't even actually bring it, I just brought my 1DX2. And there's a few different reasons for it. There's things that I really like about it, but there's also some things that I really don't like that much yet. Nothing huge really, but all these things put together kind of just make me feel uneasy. For example, one of the problems I've been having is that the base ISO is so high that I've been having a lot of vignetting issues. You know, you get that like ugly X thing when you're using variable NDs. Yeah, that's not cool. I don't really like that. I don't like having such a high base ISO. So I've been trying some of the other picture profile and not using S-Log2, even though that's kind of what I wanted it for, was all that dynamic range. So that kind of gives me mixed feel. No flip LCD screen. I really just wish that every single video camera, every single DSLR, mirrorless, everything would just have a flip LCD screen. I keep saying this, there's no reason not to have it. Photographers want it, bus. Photographers want it, videographers want it, everybody wants it. Just put flip LCD screens on every camera. One of the things that I mentioned earlier when I made the first video with this camera, I talked about how I thought it was cool that they had a slow motion setting on the dial. But then I realized that it's not even the highest quality slow motion, so it's basically a useless dial. I just don't understand why camera companies do these kinds of things. And then one of the biggest things has been the whole post side of things working with this Sony camera. I don't think people understand the massive difference in time when you go from 1080 to 4K, especially when the 4K codec isn't quite as efficient, isn't quite as solid, so it, you know, playback in a video editor isn't super clean, super smooth. It just really slows you down when you're trying to edit and it's just skipping every 2 seconds. It's kind of like the DJI drones. You almost always have to convert the footage into ProRes to be able to play them back at all. or you just need a crazy powerful computer to handle it, and that's gonna cost you a lot of money. The camera might be cheap, but then the computer you need is gonna be really expensive. And I actually ended up buying a new PC to handle the 4K on this camera. So not only does it take longer to edit, but then also export times are way longer, like extra hours, and then you multiply that by 2-3 videos a week, and it takes up a lot more time to edit and the export. So there's some interesting things that I'm not really liking it so far that much, that whole side of things. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the 4K thing, but is it worth it? Not sure yet. Also, color profiles. Initially I started shooting with the S-Log2 to get all that dynamic range, because that's one of the big reasons I got this camera. I wanted more dynamic range, I wanted a more cinematic, filmic look. And then the colors weren't that good in S-Log2, so now I've been shooting in HLG3. This would be HLG3. Let me know in the comments, is it any better? Apparently this one is a lot better, so I've been testing it out, and I'm getting some mixed results. Sometimes it looks really good, and sometimes it's just not that good. So yeah, that's another thing. Color science, I'm just not enjoying it as much as I like the Canons a lot of times. But it's not all bad. There's been some good things. For example, the autofocus has actually been pretty decent. Apparently I spoke way too soon. If the Sony doesn't have a lot of contrast on the face or whatever it's trying to focus on, the autofocus kind of sucks. Yeah, I spoke too soon. Carry on. Now, ironically, I had to film this whole bit sitting right here again because the autofocus wasn't working, and I'm like, oh, the autofocus has been great. I haven't had any problems. I haven't even had to, you know, go through playback and make sure it's in focus. And then I was like, oh, it'd be so ironic if this shot wasn't in focus. And then I went to go play back and it wasn't in focus. So I had to redo this whole thing. But for the most part, the autofocus has been actually pretty decent. I haven't had that many issues other than pretty much this shot right here. And then one of the biggest things for me that I've really enjoyed is the size difference. The 1DX2 and the Sony A7 III kind of have similar video specs, but the size difference is gigantic. Not only the cameras, big difference there, but also the chargers, the batteries. Yeah, there's a big size difference, and when I'm traveling, I really like to keep things light and small. So yeah, this has definitely been a really nice thing about the Sony. But if I'm honest, probably the biggest reason why I haven't been enjoying the Sony is I'm just not used to it. It takes a long time to really get used to a camera. And that's why I kind of wanted to commit to myself that I would try this camera out, use it on a bunch of videos, and then really make my conclusions based on that. And it's really just fun to try new cameras. It kind of spices things up a little bit, makes it a little bit more exciting because you got a new camera and the image looks different, 4K and all that stuff. It's just fun to try new cameras, and I'm actually really excited that pretty much all the companies are releasing new cameras. There's a new Nikon mirrorless, the Canon mirrorless just got announced I think yesterday. I've heard a full frame Panasonic is coming. I don't know if that's true or not, I've just heard that. The Sony A7S3 is supposed to come out. A lot of new cameras. I just love it. I love that the camera companies are kind of pushing each other, and I just want to try them all and see how good they are. So if you're interested in a camera and you want me to review it, maybe leave a comment and I'll try to review those cameras. And really, I shouldn't be complaining. We are living amazing times in terms of filmmaking. Never has there been so many options that are so cheap, so good, just jam-packed with all these different features. Yeah, it's just really exciting. Also, if you're wondering why I'm here, it's not because I'm just a massive Game of Thrones fan. Even though I do like the show, that's not why I'm here. I'm at the Power of Video conference event, speaking here with my friends Peter and a lot of other cool people. So I hope I met you because this will come out in the future. I never understand how that's going. All right, bye.